Golden redemption for the U.S. women's hockey, finally coming out on top against Team Canada. This is your Day 13 medals recap. I'm Olivia Jaquith. 66 years, 26 titles, hundreds of superstars, some of them from right here in New York, and now the first ever all-women's pay-per-view. Come October, WWE will make history when its female superstars take over. But some say the women still fall behind the men in the ring, thanks to old-fashioned sexism. For the first time in the history of NBA Live, gamers will have the option to play as a female avatar. Inspired by the play styles of WNBA athletes such as Candace Parker and Elena Del Don, who play behind me here at Madison Square Garden, female avatars will have to prove themselves against their WNBA and NBA counterparts. Just last week, the NCAA took a step in the right direction to curb college basketball corruption. It's an announcement that will completely change the landscape of student-athlete freedom. Most notably, players can now go back to school after going undrafted in the NBA, and they can even receive financial assistance if they go back to school. After too many controversies to count, the NFL has decided to fix its national anthem policy. Mike Brown of the Bengals said he and other owners were told not to discuss the ongoing efforts. But that didn't stop Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. He said his team won't stay in the locker room during the national anthem. Many of us grew up playing soccer in the United States, but coaching? That's a completely different thing.
Coach Caio spends many hours training kids on the field here at Asphalt Green. He is from Brazil and is trying to become a professional soccer coach.
The US makes it very hard for you to get better at it because their licensing is actually really bad compared to other places in the world.
The U.S. Soccer Federation recently changed coaching regulations. The move was intended to make coaches across the country better, but some, like Caio, think it's doing anything but that.
I did the F license here in the US and I learned nothing because there was nothing important in there. It was just like common sense, like basic rules of the game. If I don't know the basic rules of the game, I wouldn't be coaching soccer.
Caio isn't alone. Some others have the same concerns.
A lot of coaches don't coach full-time. So it's not realistic to expect people who have full-time jobs or kids who are studying in college to do this.
Coach Danny says these types of rules and regulations are missing the goal.
What I've actually starting to notice here is that money is a big inhibitor of people taking up the sport.
The rules were created to make soccer a game for everyone. Supporters say stronger coaches will make for stronger players, but many remain unconvinced.
If it's gonna take us 3-4 years to get good licenses, a lot of coaches, they're just gonna change and just find a new career.
Despite U.S. soccer's restructuring, many like Caio and Danny say they'll have to go overseas just to become better soccer coaches. Reporting in Manhattan, I'm Olivia Jaquith.
I have been obsessed with the Olympics for as long as I can remember, since I was really little. Played a lot of sports growing up, knew I wanted to get involved somehow.
Megan Perez lives for the gold. She's worked for NBC during the past 2 Olympics in Rio and Pyeongchang.
All of the Olympic ideals bring the world together for 2 weeks for just peace through sport, and I think that's something so important to keep in mind when it comes to North and South Korea playing together in any capacity.
North and South Korea are examples of teams that may not agree off of the field, but are playing nice on the field. Despite attempts at peace and prosperity, the names given to each country, uniting these 2 nations is easier said than done.
I think people were nervous, is this a North Korean manipulation tactic that they're just going to throw these 2 teams together and kind of put on a show? They didn't really know what it was going to be like and feel like.
The Olympics are a time for countries across the globe to engage in friendly competition. Did you know there's even something called the Olympic truce?
Part of why I love the Olympics so much is the idea of the Olympic truce. And the Olympics just have the ability to bring the whole world together regardless of the circumstances, regardless of conflict.
The next Olympics won't happen until 2020, but the North and South Korean teams have already started practicing together. They're hoping they'll be more competitive than the joint hockey team was earlier this year.
Ideally, we might like to see a perfect 50-50 split, but being realistic, you want to put the best team out there and your best foot forward, so we'll see.
This will be the second of 3 consecutive Olympics hosted by an Asian nation, making the stakes that much higher.
I love languages, I love traveling, and I think the Olympics just really puts a bow on all of it and shows that people of different cultures and different beliefs and different religions can come together for the sake of friendly competition.
Reporting in New York, I'm Olivia Jaquith.